Hi and welcome to High on Coding. I'm your host Mohammad Azam, and in this screencast I'm going to show you that how you can browse through scenes and when you're building an iPhone game using Cocos2d Framework. All right. So right now if I run my application, I'm just using the default template, and it basically prints hello world on the screen, as you can see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a class that will be my scene, okay, that will act as a scene or a layer, and I can say home menu. Okay, so that will be the name, that will be the menu of the game. It inherits from the NS object, so I'm just going to change that to CC layer, and just going to say over here that okay, we are going to use Cocos2d framework. Let's go to the implementation file. Well, let's actually go to the header file again. This is awfully slow. Wow. Okay, so I'm just going to say over here ID and scene. So this is the method scene. It has to be implemented by your layer class because it will be called when you're changing the scene. Okay, so let's go to the implementation file, and we are going to implement the scene method. So it says ID, and the plus sign actually indicates that this is a static method. CC scene equal to CC scene node. Okay, and then we can also create a layer which will be the home menu layer. So I'm just going to say home menu layer, and then home menu, which is also a node. At this point, we can simply go ahead and add the layer to our scene add child, and simply say layer, and then at the end just going to return the scene. Now the home menu should also have the implementation for the init method, and init method is basically fired when initializing the layer. So I'm just going to say over here the ID init. ID actually means that we just don't know what type it's going to return. It is going to return some type. At this point, we just don't know what it is. And we are going to say super init because we want to fire the base class method or the superclass methods. And this, you can actually design your menu, or you can design anything that you want. So our menu will be font based. So it will be just like start game or something like that. And when you click, you'll just go to a different screen. Okay. So I'm just going to say over here CC menu item font, and there are multiple ways of creating menu item. You can also use images and whatnot. And I'm going to say CC menu item font item from string, and you can say whatever you like over here. So I'm just going to say start game or start. Okay. Target is self and selector. Now this is very important that you not only declare the selector over here, but you also implement the selector, or else your game, or else your program will actually crash because it won't be able to find the selector that you are declaring over here. Okay, so I'm just going to go over here and create a CC menu, which will be menu equal to CC menu with items, and we're going to add the menu item 1, and then simply going to, I just don't know why it kind of like focuses on over here. All right, so we're just going to say over here self add child, and then add the child, which is the menu. Okay, and at the end just going to return self, which will be the layered self. Now we have said that we will, when we click the start link, it will go to a method, it will fire method start game, but we don't have the start game method. So let's go ahead and implement that. It will be void start game, and then I can say I'm not sure who is actually firing that, and then here we are start game method. Okay, now we have to go to the app delegate file, and we have to tell the app delegate file that, hey, we will be using our home menu instead of the hello world, also go to the header files and include the home menu over here. So I'm just going to say import home menu. All right, let's build this. Let's run this and see what we see. So our application is going to run in the simulator, and you can see that a start menu or a start screen is actually displayed. Okay. Now what we want is that when we click on the start screen, it will go to a different basically scene. Okay. So let's go ahead and add one more file, which will be the new file, which will be the game scene. We're going to do the same process again, and we're going to say this is our game scene. The game scene will be responsible for actually displaying the game to the user and where the user can go ahead and play it. All right, so I can say over here Cocos2d, and we can say cc layer. Let's go ahead and create that ID, the scene method, which will be fired when you are basically requesting the game scene. Now let's go ahead into the game scene itself and implement the scene method. It will be pretty much similar to the method that we already implemented. So I'm just going to say cc scene equal, and then cc scene node, and cc not cc but game scene basically, and then game, and then we're going to say game scene node scene add child, and we are going to add the child as a game and return the scene. Now we also must implement the init method. So here is the init method, pretty much similar to what we have already done. Okay, so we can say over here if self equal to super init. You can do different stuff over here. I don't think we need to do anything over here, and I'm just going to say return self. Now I'm not doing the deallocation and all this stuff, but you know what to do. Just implement the dealloc method and then release all the resources that you are actually using. But in the scene method, what I'm going to do, oh wait, okay, so we're going to get, let's call it layer, so we'll have a better idea of what we are adding. And now we can go ahead and add something to the layer. So I'm just going to say cc sprite, and the image that I'm adding is not really the complete image. It doesn't really, actually let me, you know what, let me add a different image then. Okay, let's see what I can do. So I'm just going to say over here background equal to, and I'm just creating a new background over here, sprite, and then sprite with a file. So let's go ahead and use the default page, or the default.png, and background.anchor point equal to ccp 0, 0. Okay, and now we can actually add this background to our layer. We can say add child, and then we can just say background. So at this point we have added our game scene with some sort of a background to distinguish it from the home menu screen, but we still don't have the code to go from the home scene when click the start button to the game scene. So let's go ahead and implement that, and start game will be responsible for doing that. So we are just going to use a cc director, shared director, oops, and replace. Now this has a replace scene command, or a function which will allow you to replace the, basically replace the scene. And there are many different transitions that you can use. I'm just going to use CC fade down transition. Okay, and then we have a transition with duration, so you can say how much time it will take for the transition to complete, and then the scene that it will actually get fired, which we can say over here, the scene will be game scene, right? Game scene, scene. Now I think we have to go over here in the home menu and let's tell it that we do have a game scene over here. Let's go back over here. Okay, let's run this and see what happens. So we have a start, and when I click, you can actually see that it went to a game scene. And of course, I don't really have the correct image to display right now, but you get the idea. It will be the game scene. Okay, I'm just representing the game scene with this particular image, which of course you can see is not really aligned properly. The image is kind of like a portrait mode, and the screen is a landscape mode. Okay, so this will allow you to do that. There are some other transitions, if I can find that for you. Like there's a fade down transition. There also slide up or something. Slide in transition something. Let's run this and see. I haven't seen this one, but it will have a different effect. So it kind of like slides up or something. You can actually see, you can play around with these things. That's pretty much it. So in this particular screencast, you learn that how you can basically browse through different scenes, load up different scenes. You can have a home menu, you can have a game scene, and then from game scene you can have a game over or congratulations, the game is completed, something like that. And that's pretty much it. I hope you like this video, and thank you very much.